Hey guys, I'm back again, making sure I do these videos while I have time. Got about an hour before I have to leave for work. So not that much time, but I'm squeezing it in. I decided to divide my remaining February books by preference. So this video is my favorites of the month, and it's only two. I have first A Million Suns by Beth Revis. It's a really pretty cover, but unfortunately, unlike Across the Universe, it's not a reversible dust jacket. It's kind of disappointed about that. But anyway, A Million Suns is the sequel to last year's Across the Universe, which is a sci-fi dystopian set on a spaceship in the future, heading towards like a new Earth called Centauri Earth, and it's obviously a dystopian. So the government and the lifestyle and everything on this ship was found to be quite off by both Amy, the girl from the old Earth, Soul Earth, who was woken up on the ship too early, and by Elder, the future leader of the ship. So in this one, I don't want to spoil too much. So, well, spoiler alert if you haven't read Across the Universe right here. Elder and Amy, again, it's a dual narrative. They are trying to come to terms with their relationship, and Elder is trying to deal with being a leader now, although he does not want to assume the actual title of eldest. There's rebellion that's starting now that the people are not on the drugs to be controlled, and Amy is getting messages from the villain in the first book, and they're saying that there's going to be a problem, that they may not be able to ever land on the new Earth, or maybe they will, and all that kind of stuff. If you liked Across the Universe, which I really did, you will also definitely love the sequel, A Million Suns. It is action-packed. I feel like there's a mystery of like who is the bad person that is instigating these revolts that keep escalating in the book, even though I did easily guess who it was. Whatever. If you're a fan of the Amy and Elder romance, then you're definitely going to be happy to see how it's progressing. Honestly, I never really cared that much about their romance. I felt like the book could have been, or the series could have been written without it, and it would have still worked just fine. But honestly, I mean, she has to write to an audience, and that's what young adult readers want, or seem to want, for judging by what's popular. Because I know there's some like me who really don't care that much, and I do feel that theirs is one of the better done romances in YA. There's no stupid love triangle, or the girl saying how plain and lonely she is, but all the guys loving her, and the guy treating her in a really kind of cruel, manipulative way, but the book presenting it is like the ultimate form of love, or any of the other crap that seems to go on in a lot of books. And there's also no like insta love, like we were fated to be together, or any crap like that. So kudos to Beth Revis for at least doing her romance right, whether you really care about it or not. I felt like, yeah, whatever, it's kind of expendable, but it was interesting enough, I guess. I highly enjoyed this book. I think even more than Across the Universe. I would give it a 5 out of 5 star rating. It was just so good, and I cannot wait to read the finale to the trilogy, which is not going to be like for another year. It's going to be called Shades of Earth. I just can't wait. I highly recommend A Million Suns. Go pick it up, especially if you've already read Across the Universe. If not, what are you waiting for? Go read it. My other favorite of the month, which I actually is one of the few that I have bought for my e-reader, is, if you can see this, It is A Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin. This is the second in the Song of Ice and Fire series after A Game of Thrones, which I read like back in summer sometime. Highly enjoyable. If you like A Game of Thrones, this is more of the same thing. There are several narrators in this fantasy world of Westeros and Essos, the two continents. I can't remember my words in my own language, I guess. And it's kind of, like the titles say, it's a political thing with warring over the rightful heir to the throne and all this kind of crap. It's too complex for me to even say. In this one, it's a kind of a continuation of the same thing, except you get a couple new points of view, and you lose at least one key narrator from the first book, which will be obvious if you've read the first book who it is. And what I like about that is if there are some characters you don't really like that much, there will be something to appeal to every reader. I actually surprisingly found myself in this one. My favorite narrators were the children, the younger characters like Bran, and I like Sansa's point of view a lot more in this one. Arya was a favorite of mine in the first book. In this one, I was getting really annoyed with her, and I highly enjoyed A Clash of Kings. But my one thing that kind of bothers me about this is the same thing with A Game of Thrones, is it's just so long. There's a lot of it that I feel, while they're like interesting vignettes, so to speak, on their own, I feel like there's a lot that could be condensed to make for a quicker storyline, to get the story moving faster, because if you look at the big picture, not much in the grand scheme of things in terms of the plot. The phone is ringing. Okay, sorry everybody, I'm back. The phone was ringing for a second. As I was saying, if you look at the big picture, not that much is accomplished in such like 1,000 pages worth of time. While I do think a lot of it is necessary, part of me in the back of my mind feels like George R.R. Martin is just including a lot of these details because he wants to make it epic, so to speak, and that's what's required to be an epic story. I don't know, maybe I just tend to like things that, get the job done, so to speak, in a quicker amount of time, because I'm impatient. I don't know, but I'm still able to read long things like this, so if that's necessarily true or not, I'm not sure. That aside from a couple chapters here and there, and there's so many to choose from, I highly enjoyed A Clash of Kings, and it is really recommended to any readers of this series or any fans of fantasy series. Just obviously read A Game of Thrones first and see if you like that, or if not, watch the HBO series because it is really good. I would recommend it, and although it definitely has been sexed up, it also removes some of the squicky elements from the book, such as aging some of the characters up, which I appreciated. And I give A Clash of Kings a 4.5 out of 5 rating. See you in my next and last video of the month, where I review books that were not quite so favorable to me.